On the internet marketplace, USA for Sale can help you reach your target audience in Ocala, the Villages, and statewide. There's no better place to reach shoppers than right where they shop. Let us show you how. Learn more by calling 352-629-1663 or visit us online at usaforsale.com.
Pay your taxes, eat your vegetables, watch your weight, mow the lawn, clean the house. We all have stuff we don't want to do. Isn't it about time you did something you wanted to do? Like getting your pilot's license?
At Ocala Aviation, they make it fun and easy, and you can start by taking one of their discovery flights. For only $99, you get to go up in the airplane with an FAA-certified flight instructor and actually fly the plane yourself. It's a perfect way to see if flying is for you. And once you get that ultimate feeling of freedom, Ocala Aviation can train you to get your pilot's license. Ocala Aviation also offers commercial flight training for those looking to make a career change and enter the world of commercial aviation. Ocala Aviation is conveniently located at the Ocala International Airport. So if you're ready to start your adventure, stop by or give them a call today. 861-7484. That's 861-7484. You'll be glad you did. I know I am. Ocala Aviation.
Call today, 861-7484. That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 572-2510. That's 572-2510.
All right, 5 minutes after 8 o'clock. It's really a beautiful Wednesday out there. The weather today, let's see, let me tell you what the temperature is right now. 57 degrees, climbing to 83. That is the weather, period, for today, tomorrow, Friday, the whole Easter weekend, even after that. And if you've got anything you're doing with the family, with friends, just by yourself, and it's outdoors, you've picked a good time to do it. We've got so many great state parks in our area, not to exclude the city parks and the county parks. Don't want to exclude them. Yeah. But we've got so many great places to go to, and this is a lot of times for my family anyway. This kicked off the swimming season.
Yeah.
When I was younger, my first swimming of the year usually was on Easter Sunday. Galen Unold is on the phone from LifeSouth Community Blood Center. Good morning, Galen.
Hey, good morning, Larry, Robin. How are y'all?
Pretty good. Where are you right now?
I'm on my way to Gainesville.
All right. Yeah, so you stay relatively local today. I always thought that Gainesville commute sounded like a long commute. Not now. Not when I hear you going to Jacksonville and Atlanta like every other day.
I have a meeting here that starts right at 8:30. So.
Oh.
Okay. So today you've got to cut it short, huh?
No, I'm fine.
Oh, you don't? Okay. All right.
They know the meeting will start when I'm done with this show. Show's first.
Nice.
So today, that's right. You're the boss. You're the boss. Did you hear that People Magazine has a report indicating that Bruce Jenner really did go through the physical part of the transformation?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I'm just so over this.
Did you hear the audio bite? Have you heard the audio bite?
No, I heard you guys playing it. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh! He got his Bruce voice back.
He never lost his Bruce voice, by the way.
I'm just, I don't know. I'm so past Bruce Jenner and all the attention he gets. There are so many people in the world that deserve more attention than this guy.
Yeah, I know, but when you have a soundbite.
Oh, no, I get it.
You have to use it, Galen. There's no way you can't use that soundbite.
Oh, I agree with that. Absolutely.
Today, our topic this is an interesting topic. It is things that I'm glad that somebody pointed out I was doing wrong. Things that I did wrong that I'm glad somebody pointed out. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start with one. Are you ready for my first one?
Yeah.
I even though I know I'm from New York, and I guess I never really lost the accent, but I've been here since I was 17. And when you're 17 and you live in Florida, you already have your driver's license. At least you did back in 1972. I don't know what it is now. Mm-hmm. So all of my peers were driving cars. I was not, because I think the driving age in New York was 18, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think. But anyway, I learned how to drive here in Ocala. I learned at Forest High School. And I was in that little parking lot next to the old school, not to the one that they're in now. The
Marion Technical
Right.
Institute is what
so
Forest used to be.
so we had the cones, and I knocked over one of the cones. And the teacher, who was one of the coaches, by the way, a very well-beloved coach, I apologize for not remembering his name, but he was in the car with me. He said, "Why did you hit the cone?" And I said, "Well, I wasn't sure if I was going to clear it or not." He said, "If you're not sure, then you don't move." And I thought, okay. And so I was wrong, and he pointed out how I was wrong, and for the rest of my life, that little lesson has served me well.
Yeah.
You know? Another one that
Now you're getting honked out on the Silver Springs Boulevard.
Oh, now I get beeped at, yeah, because everybody else does it wrong. Yeah. But another one, and then I want you guys to comment on your own if any come to mind. But another one, I was taking CPR classes back in my days at the wherever I was, detention center, I guess, and I was doing it wrong. And one of the other students, I guess, told me I was doing it wrong, and I realized I was. If that was a real person, I would have broken their ribs or something. I would have done something wrong, right? It was fake. I mean, it was not a real person on the floor. But yeah, that little compression thing you do, with the on the sternum, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 things that I can remember right off the top of my head that I did wrong, that I'm forever grateful that somebody pointed out I was doing it wrong. There's probably 100 of them in the music world, but those aren't as important as driving safely and saving a life.
Exactly.
Do you have any? You guys have any? Any things you did wrong that you were glad somebody pointed out to you?
I imagine I do.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't remember.
That's the topic going down the drain, I guess, huh?
No, Galen's turn.
well, that's no. I mean, I just don't. It's a tough one to sit back and think about for a while. People tell me what I do wrong all the time. So.
Well, that's true, but and that happens to me too. But a lot of times they're wrong about me being wrong.
I think the interesting point out of this is you have to be open to criticism if you're ever going to improve.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
If you're whatever it is you're doing, you have to be open to criticism, so that you can get past it and get to that next level of whatever you're trying to do. So, yeah, I don't know of anything that substantial that I can think of off the top of my head.
There must have been something in sports. There must have been something in broadcasting.
I'm sure, but yeah, I mean, thinking about
sewing.
it. I mean, I was told probably the best advice I got was, don't try to have a radio voice that you just don't have. Don't try to have that.
Were you doing that? Were you trying to do the radio thing?
Well, yeah. With a, hey, this is Galen, that whole thing. You're rocking the, that whole thing.
Yeah.
That was probably the best advice I got. They were like, just talk like you're having a conversation with somebody, and don't try to have a voice that you just don't have.
That is the best advice.
Hey, so I guess that would be it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to learn how to sew, and of course, in my high school, we had, home economics, and sewing was part of it. So I took it during summer school for the credit and my academic stuff during the year. And I had, wanted this nice suit out of corduroy and everything, and I cut out everything. She showed us how to lay the pieces, and then she said, "Well, you're wrong on your vest." I said, "Oh, what happened?" She said, "Well, you didn't flip the pattern over when you cut out the other side." So I had 2 of the same sides of the vest. So I know that's not life-threatening, but I mean, that was embarrassing. And then, after that, I learned how, and I've been a sewer ever since.
There you go. But are you?
She was a little late, though, didn't she? I mean, once you'd already had the material cut out, isn't that a little late?
Yeah, well, she would walk around and see how you pinned it and everything. You had to pin it, and she was looking at it, said, "Oh, you're doing a good job." So, it was just something I just didn't do.
I'm still stuck on you having a corduroy suit.
Yeah, that was 1970.
I get it. Whatever it takes, Robin.
That's right. It was a skirt and a vest, and it was emerald green. I just wanted that so bad.
Emerald green corduroy.
Yep.
So
it was great.
I'm pretty sure you could not find that fabric today.
Probably not.
Never happened. What's the name of that fabric store? Joann's, right? Fabric?
Yes, Joann's. They've got wonderful
there's not
stuff.
a huge selection of of corduroy.
Are they still around?
Oh yeah, they're there. They're marvelous. They're the best fabric store in town.
Are they the only fabric store?
I wonder if
No.
they have somebody should call them and say, "Hey, do you have green corduroy?"
Emerald green.
Recreate Robin's suit.
Emerald green.
That's right.
All right, so the topic kind of went down the drain, but I have a way to extend it. Do you think United Airlines has learned that
can you imagine yourself wearing emerald green corduroy?
You're stuck on this.
Sorry, I'm stuck on this.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I used to think
Do you
corduroy.
own a pet? Do either one of you own corduroy now?
No,
Let's see. No, not now.
no.
Okay, I'm just asking. I think that's a fair question.
It's a fair question.
But
it's not out there.
I used to love corduroy. I used to love it.
And, like if somebody right now, like Dan probably has some corduroy.
Oh my gosh.
Walking into the studio, you'd have to turn off the microphone because all you hear is.
This is why Galen does a segment with us. He picked up on the funniest part of that whole thing.
I'm sorry, but come on. Great. Think about that. That's all I can think about is Robin coming out of her home economics class in 1970 rocking an emerald green.
Oh no!
It was a
suit.
mini skirt, by the way.
I guarantee you, if you were a boy,
Oh, even better. With the color of your
vest.
boot.
if you
Color
were.
boots you wear that. Black
Exactly. We had the tall
Wait a
boots,
minute.
too.
I've seen pictures of Robin in those years when she was younger. I'm guessing all the boys did a double take and a triple take. And,
Oh, of course.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure that corduroy. I'm sure that corduroy looks really good. I'm just
I agree,
saying.
But not everybody can rock a corduroy. I can't rock
That's
a
it.
corduroy.
Yes, Robin could rock the corduroy, which is
Yeah.
another book name right there, by the way.
Man.
All right. I don't-
Emerald green.
That's right, emerald
you wear
green.
it?
Oh,
You
my-
wear this? Was this like your favorite outfit?
Yeah, it was great. I really
I
enjoyed
would
it.
love to see a photo of that.
thought
You need
it
to
was
post
fun.
that. That would get me back on Facebook right there. Posting a picture of yourself wearing that emerald green.
A lot of people do
You know, with that
these throwback Thursdays.
color 70s film.
A lot of people do the throwback
Or knee
Thursdays.
socks.
If Robin did the throwback Thursdays, there'd be a lot of women who were jealous. They'd be going, "Oh my gosh! Oh
That
my
would
gosh!"
be awesome.
Ah,
All right. You wear like a head bead. You know the beads that they wear in their head back then.
Yeah, it was
Fine. And
it was a headband, and I wore knee socks with my clogs.
yes.
I know. It's really unheard of these days.
Clog?
Clogs.
Wait, clog?
Yeah. Clogs, yeah. They were square heels with
Wow.
square toes,
I was
yeah,
thinking
with
you'd
knee
rock
socks.
boots.
No, I had knee socks for that outfit.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I was
Thank you.
weird.
The headband. That's awesome. No, it's the time.
I know. It was fun.
I wasn't born quite yet, but
No.
kind of thankful I missed the corduroy symbol, the whole scene. But,
We had
All
to
right,
do
Larry, I'm
something
sorry.
coming
Go
out of the
ahead.
60s, you
I'm,
know?
I'm just trying to picture what you were wearing back in your younger days.
yeah.
Were you a fashion guru?
Oh, I have I told you what my whole thing was is I always wanted a pair of parachute pants, but I couldn't find a pair that fit me. I mean, that's all I wanted. I remember just. It's not like you had the internet or anything, but I just wanted a pair.
Wait
of
a
parachute.
minute. Wait a minute. Okay, I have a question about that. When you did
Yeah.
you ever wear them?
Did you ever find a pair that fit?
No,
No.
never found a pair that fit.
Okay.
No.
But here's a question. Did you accentuate or try to hide your man bits?
My man, what?
The bits down there. Did you try
The
to
boys.
Did you put some socks in? Did
How
you
would I
put,
do that?
Well, I'm just somebody did. Some of those guys did.
Really?
Yeah. They thought they were ballet dancers or something. They'd be walking down the hall and go, "Whoa!"
Oh, you mean like putting in like a sock in there or something?
Yeah, putting a sock in there. Yeah.
No.
You never did that.
No.
Well,
No.
he hesitated.
No.
a little bit.
What did you
I
think?
never wore tight pants. I had a waist when I was like in high school. I had a waist of like a 27.
Okay. Right.
I mean, I couldn't find anything that would fit me very well. So,
So, in other words, you did nothing. You just put the pants on and went to school.
yeah,
Did
I
you-
didn't even brush my hair until I was in like 11th grade.
Did you ever do that? You and your friends put socks in your pants?
No.
No?
I don't know
No.
anybody who did.
I
mean,
do.
it's
Oh, really?
I knew some people who did.
weird. again, different era.
If you can remember, this is before Galen's time, but do you remember those shoes that the Beatles wore? Do you remember those?
Yes.
They were like boots with, they were like high heels, kind of.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember
exactly.
that? I don't know if you remember the heels that the Beatles wore, Galen.
They were square.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, those guys in the school, because not everybody wore them. Your parents didn't want you to wear stuff like that. Your parents didn't want you to look like the Beatles at all, first of all. But the kids who did anyway always had the socks going on in the pants. I don't know why, but those two things.
You got to remember, you know, the fabric of the pants back then were not, wasn't a lot of cotton. It was like, was it nylon? Was that? No, not nylon.
It was corduroy, Galen.
Polyester.
There was
polyester.
a lot of corduroy back then.
A lot of denim, too. A lot of
A lot
denim.
of polyester. And,
Polyester.
Well, denim always cool.
No, that's the 70s. We're a little bit before the. All right, let's go to the break. I do have one question about doing something wrong, though, real quickly, and then we'll maybe come back with this. I don't know. Do you think United Airlines has learned that they did it wrong?
I hope so.
Or do you think they'll ever do that again?
That's a better question. I don't think they'll do it that way again. But but for them to admit that they did something wrong, no. I mean, the CEO came out there pretty clearly. I think we're going to learn more. I mean, I think we're going to find out this guy. I mean, he was convicted of. I guess I don't think he was convicted, but there are charges that he was giving drugs in exchange for sex, things like that in his practice. And I think we're going to find out. He made some really odd things in there. I wonder if he wasn't on something while he was on that plane. Really odd behavior.
None of that.
So have you heard all the audio where he comes back on and goes, "Don't kill me," or "Just kill me, just kill me, just kill me, just kill me"? Why did he keep coming back onto the plane?
I didn't see that video. Just kill me.
Oh, you got to watch. There's a bunch.
I believe
you. Watch
I'm just saying I didn't see that one.
He's like, "Just kill me, just kill me, just kill me."
But none of that, Galen. It sounds like we disagree on this guy. None of that is why they got him off the plane. They did not pick on him because
No. Agreed.
They did not. Remember those charges you're talking about were 16 years ago. Okay. A person who robbed a bank serves less time than that. Okay, so
well, he's under he's currently under investigation for doing the same thing.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. But none of the things. But none of those points are why he was removed from the plane. None of them.
No, and I've been on a plane. I mean, I think United should have. Once nobody came forward, and I don't blame them for not coming forward. They should have just emptied the plane. If you get everybody off the plane, then this guy's got to get off the plane, and then you just don't let him back on the plane. That, to me, is the simple solution, and I've seen that done. But I'm not defending United, but United has a right to kick you off the plane. They don't need much of a reason either. So, and the other thing is if all these other passengers, the other 70 passengers, were so upset by what was going on, then they should have just let him go. His wife got off the plane. It was already off the plane.
No, she followed him.
That was the second time. She was already off the plane because he was the last of the 4 that were chosen on the plane. Then she came back on the plane because he never got off. I don't know why they let her back on the plane. And then that's when they came and got him. She was not, from what I understand, and I don't know if anybody's got the truth back, but from what I understand, she was not in the seat next to him when they pulled him off the plane.
If you were the CEO of United, would you tell everybody else, look, we did it wrong? Or would you say, no, I stand behind this?
Well, I would. You don't want to admit wrongdoing because they're going to get sued, as you talked about earlier.
Right.
I would come out and say, look, you know what? This is just a really unfortunate circumstances. We're going to learn from this.
We're going to learn. Yes,
we're going to have
because we did it wrong.
Yes. Again, you can improve your processes by learning from it. All
right, let me point something out. A person who has been convicted of a crime is allowed to fly on an airplane. There's no reason why a person.
That's not why he was kicked off.
That's what I'm saying. I know, but for some reason that comes up.
No.
Yes, you just brought it up. You brought up that.
Let me explain. What I said is I think he may have been on something. His behavior was really strange. You would agree with that?
Yes.
You would agree with. You would.
I would agree. I would agree with it, counsel. I would agree with this. I would agree with it being strange, but I would also point out that it wasn't strange until he was put through a very stressful situation of being dragged out of a seat and having his head banged into an armrest.
Now you're assuming because you haven't heard all of the audio. You haven't heard the entire conversation. They apparently had multiple conversations with this guy. And again, from the article I read this morning, he was belligerent to the staff. They were asking him politely to leave. The pilot came and asked him to leave.
Okay. Well, Galen Unold, if you know all the facts, then I'm asking a question. I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm just asking a question. Was his belligerence after they picked his name as the one who had to leave?
Absolutely.
Yes. Of course. So he was not belligerent before they picked his name?
Yeah.
There you go. That. So that's why. So wouldn't you have been a little belligerent? I'm not leaving. I got patients back home. I'm a doctor. Isn't that what he said?
Yes.
I don't think I would have been. Nobody would have had to force me off.
Not me either. Not me either.
But I would have gotten off the plane.
Okay.
I would have gotten off the plane. You wouldn't have gotten off the plane. I
would have gotten off the plane. I'm not. If you put myself in his shoes, I would have gotten off the plane. But at the same,
I would have never allowed it to get to the situation that he did. And I'm not defending United because United obviously took this too far. There was a lot of things they should have done.
The question then.
To say that this guy's, you're absolving this guy from any factor in this issue.
Yes, I am.
You're absolving him of any wrongdoing.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's correct.
Okay. So we obviously disagree because in my mind the only behavior to consider is the behavior before they pulled him off.
It escalated to that point.
No,
it escalated to where that guy had to drag.
You just told me it didn't.
Do you agree with that?
I'm only going. Wait, you're the one with the answers. I asked you, was he being belligerent before they picked his name, and you said no.
Well, when they all boarded the plane. And that's when they realized, hey, we still have 4 seats to give up. The 4 names that they called, 3 of the 4 left the plane.
No, the first 3 voluntarily left. They didn't pull 3 names. They picked 1 name, his.
Okay, and I heard, well, then why was his wife already off the plane?
Because she volunteered to leave.
One of the names.
She volunteered to leave.
Okay, and again, that speaks to me. So I in my heart, I believe he was medicated in some way, shape, or form and acting erratically.
I
just don't understand how a sane person who's a doctor, a professional, acts in that way. Because they talked about how the airline crew could have driven to Louisville from Chicago.
Right.
This guy could have gotten in a car and driven to Louisville just like that staff.
Right. But he had no car.
So, yeah.
Right.
You could rent a car. I mean, he's not a man. He's a man.
All right. So you get a ticket to fly on an airplane, and somebody picks your name, and you say, no, I'm sorry, I can't get off the plane, and they decide to use force on you, and they're right. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying they're right. But
right. Well, that's the point.
You have to. No, it's not the point.
Yes, it is the point. Because my question was, will United?
Issue, there's a lot
my
of
question, Galen Unold.
Okay, let me ask you this, counselor. Does United have the right to take him off the plane? Does United have the right to say you cannot fly on this plane?
Yes, they do.
Because you signed that with the ticket agreement.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
So there you go. I rest my case.
Did they do it the right way, though?
No, I sadd that from the beginning.
That's my question.
I'm not agreeing with the way. No. Your question's twofold. You said.
No, my question is onefold. Hold on. Let me say the question again, because obviously you didn't hear it. My question was this. Will United learn that they will United learn, or did United learn that they did it the wrong way? The whole segment was about learning you did something the wrong way.
And I already admitted to that.
Then we're done.
I said they will learn from this. I made
So
that
they did it the wrong way. So the answer is yes, they did.
Well, I mean, I think they acted. I don't know if they followed their SOP, which is why the guy got suspended. I don't know. I don't know what their standard operating procedure is for this. I don't know if he jumped the step. I don't know if they didn't follow the rules. I don't even know their rules. You can't say they did anything wrong. You could have isolated this to the one guy who
United,
the guy out of his bed.
In 2014, United told the federal regulators that all ticketed passengers were guaranteed seats. That's part of this story.
I heard you say that, and you know what they mean by that. It doesn't have to be on that particular plane. It can be on the next flight.
Okay.
So, and that's what they were saying. You can fly. It was like 26 hours later.
The question is, did they do what they were supposed to do the right way? What's the word I'm looking for here, Robin? Did they
follow their procedures?
Protocol.
I don't know what their procedures are.
Was it protocol? Did they follow?
Is that correct protocol? Thank you.
I don't know. I don't even know what the. I don't know what the protocol is.
All right. Well, if I'm the CEO, I'm going to say that's wrong. We got to fix it. However we do it in the future. We're done. We're gone. We got 20 seconds. Where's the bloodmobile? Where's the bloodmobile?
No,
Thank you, Palm Garden.
I have to say this.
You do not have to say it.
To say this.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Where's the bloodmobile? That's what you have to say.
Close to the public today.
Close to the public.
Thank you,
You know
Galen.
what the protocol is? That guy got suspended. Thank you.
Fox News Radio, I'm Carol McHugh. Let there be no doubt the president says last week's missile strike on a Syrian airbase was a long time coming.
What I did should have been done by the Obama administration a long time before I did it. And you would have had a much better, I think Syria would be a lot better off right now than it has been.
President Trump speaking with Maria Bartiromo on the Fox Business Network. The attack was in response to a Syrian